Hi, everyone. Oops, I'm not plugged in. This is what happens when we go live. Hold on. There we go. We're live. So I just wanted to welcome everybody. This is Louisa at the GoldFish Report. Today is Saturday, January 11th, 2020, and we are live right now. We are waiting for our Australian friend Tim EMslie to join us and give us an update on what's going on with the fires down in Australia. I also have to make an announcement that I just posted that sadly Audrey Ewis has had a health emergency, needed emergency surgery. He is not available to do the live stream Q&A tonight. We're all quite disappointed about that, but we do understand, and we certainly wish and sending our prayers to Audrey as well. Hi, Ohm444. So Tim is with us now. Tim, we're live right now, mate. And let's test your audio real quick. As we do, we have to do these things live because I don't have sound yet on you. Poor guy's driving. He's going to give us an update. It's really been heartbreaking to see the kinds of hi, Maria. It's very heartbreaking to see the kinds of pictures we've been seeing coming out of Australia, but it's also been just as heartwarming to see the people who have been trying to save these animals, firefighters who have been, no, I can't hear you yet, Tim. I can't hear you yet, yeah. Firefighters who have been doing what they can to rescue these poor little animals, and, you know, people putting them in cars, people bringing them in their homes. There you go, Tim.
Yeah.
Tim, we're seeing so many videos come out of Australia there, my friend. A lot of firefighters trying to help rescue some of these animals. The animals are in bad shape. They're totally dehydrated. They're burned, many of them. I saw this one image that was so heartbreaking of a farmer having to shoot his cattle. They were so burned and damaged that they couldn't be saved. This is so heartbreaking. Tim, tell us what you know, what's going on down there.
Well, in relation to...
This is a live connection down in Australia, folks. So the internet might freeze up on and off. So which it has just done. As soon as his internet can resume some stability, he'll be back. Sorry, Tim, can you try that again? Okay.
Yeah. So is that working?
Yeah, it's working. It's just the internet's going to go in and out. We'll just deal with it. It's a live broadcast. I'm sure everyone will understand.
So one of my co-workers, he has an excavator. He has a earth moving business as well. He's a mechanic. And the last I heard, he was wearing a mask and he was digging trenches and was burying sheep. So now the other thing is, over the news, like in our TV news, that they're talking about how they're distributing, aid to help people. And, it's obviously describing the main ones that we all know planet-wide, like Red Cross and all that. But the people of the Upper Murray region, which is all farmers and everything, they've got jack shit. It's not coming in fast enough. Farmers have lost a heap of weight because they haven't been eating. There's no power. The power poles are burnt. The wires are sort of drooping in the air. The services from government agencies to come and repair is really, really slow. And it seems that what the bias is, what the feeling is amongst general Australians in these remote areas. When I say remote, I'm talking about 160 kilometers, so maybe 100 miles from a major town, city of 100,000 people that has, shopping centers and lots of infrastructure. It's quite large. These towns are small, sometimes 600 people, sometimes 300 people. And it's like, because they're remote areas, and there's no traffic allowed in and out. No fuel has been allowed in and out on the big tankers, but somehow the firefighters have been getting in like trailers of 20-litre jerry cans in mass numbers of 1,000 litres to fight fires or whatever. I don't know what. Well, I've seen photos of that, so I don't quite know where that fuel is going. But to come in 20-litre jerrys instead of big fuel trucks must be because of maybe they're not allowed to bring in the fuel trucks because they're so big and the risk of it exploding or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, aid from government agencies and the big well-known agencies that supply aid, it's not happening quick enough. And people who are doing GoFundMe,
Right.
so people doing the GoFundMe projects are doing more, and people are running around doing volunteer work, including some of my co-workers who are supposed to be up where I'm working, but they can't get out. So I'm up working on this job in Coffs Harbour, and there's 3 of us there. There's meant to be 6 of us there, but the other 3 have been stuck down in the fires, so they can't get up. And all they can do, because they're there and they've been stuck there, all they can do is help. And so people's lives are disrupted. And so it's actually put them into humanitarian roles, actually, which is really interesting. And people, it's very, very surprising because people I know that aren't even open to the sort of discussions that you and I have about all sorts of things on here, suddenly the fire has put them into positions of humanitarian roles. Like one of my co-workers' wives, she's a nurse, and of course she's been stuck in there as well and can't get to the city where she works as a nurse in a hospital, which is like 100 miles away, or whatever, wherever it is. And so, you know, she's been doing a GoFundMe, and her husband, who works for the company I work in, has been running around with these supplies. And some of the big companies, like, I don't know who they are, it could be like the Red Cross or St. Vincent de Paul, I'm not sure who they are, but they've been running into each other, and there's been a bit of heated discussion, like, you shouldn't be doing this, shouldn't be doing this. It's like as if the big guys like the Red Cross or something think that they're legitimate, and these other ones that people have engineered because they're not happy with the results, it isn't happening. Prime minister's talking on the TV about helping out, but they're feeling like they're not being helped out, so they're helping themselves, and now they're coming under fire by these agencies for helping themselves because they're not doing it the way it should be done, and this is what's going on. And of course, there is, all this loss, I'm reading the same things you are, and I'm posting them about 500 million wildlife, and now they're saying 1 billion. I'm trying to find out the truth of that, because I know that a lot of climate change activists who are buying into the story of Greta Thunberg are pushing those stories as well. So I'm trying to find the middle ground of that. I'm not saying it's not happening, but I'm trying to find out the truth without it being someone else's political agenda that may not be the ultimate truth, the reality, or what with false information, and someone using the death of all the wildlife to promote their own cause. And through that, I'm trying to filter through to find the truth. Of course, loss of fires and life, and we used to have the Aboriginals burn in cooler times. It was just a thing they did. Of course, some people don't agree with that, but it seemed to work. It seems the Australian bush has evolved to be burnt when it's a slow burn in cooler temperatures. Some of the seedlings need fire to germinate. So fire is a natural requirement in nature here. but these temperatures are extreme. And I'd like to say there is something else of interest. There's rumors and stories and photos and sort of half facts. You can't sort of prove it ultimately that some jets have been taken off that have been shown on Flight Radar 24, which is an app that shows where flights are coming off, taking off and leaving and landing from. And there's Air Force Base to do with the Australian military called Nowra, which is south of Wollongong, south of Sydney, a couple of hours south of Sydney. And it's been doing zigzag patterns. It's not coming up as a registered aeroplane, except that they're Learjets. Now, someone says that they've taken photos of Learjets being fitted in Geelong, Victoria, which is on the west side of Melbourne, sort of heading along the coast towards Adelaide, which is sort of a satellite city, a moon city to Melbourne down there. And Raytheon, R-A-Y, how do you say it?
It's Raytheon, yeah.
Raytheon.
Big corporation, yes.
Yeah, which is a US military contractor, technology associated with Lockheed Martin, which we know is associated with the secret space program and stuff in Antarctica, and that's going off on another branch. But,
it is.
So, someone has said that there's photos of these private-owned looking, not military craft, private-owned looking Learjets like you'd have Hollywood stars in, fitted with these red laser devices that are a new technological weapon that we know Israel and US has been using, which is like a red beam of light. And so it's speculated that these craft have been fitted in Geelong, flown to Nowra, and flown out of Nowra, zigzagging in a certain pattern across where the fires are. Now, I'm going to throw another conspiracy concept in there to question, to get eyes on, to look at, is if lightning is a natural phenomena and dry lightning can cause fires, I don't know what the statistics of a dry lightning strike. It seems.
Okay, we're gonna cut in and out every once in a while. This is a live broadcast from Australia. Tim is actually on the road driving, so mate, I don't know if you can hear me. There you go.
I can hear you.
Okay, you're back. It just goes in every once in a while, goes in and out a little bit. Keep going.
Yeah, but are they? Maybe is it possible that they're pushing for the lightning strikes, or at least seeing where these, like, flying around near where these lightning strikes are, and then pointing the laser where the lightning strikes have struck, so that, the wizard behind the curtain, it's like, the lightning strikes are starting the fires, but what if they're pointing the laser at where the lightning struck on a GPS map? They get those coordinates, then they point the laser and start it and say, yes, it was lightning. So that way they're actually hiding the activity by, presenting it as lightning strikes. I really don't know. That's just something I came up with because it seems that every lightning that strikes where there's no water associated, no rain, seems to be triggering a new fire. And I'm wondering, we need a scientist that can tell us that every lightning strike will ignite the bush or won't, because I don't know if that's a real thing or not. I'm not sure.
Tim, I know you're driving, but I'm just going to screen share something for you so you could, I'll describe what it is for you. This is the document from the Australian government sent to me by one of your friends, Linka Crosby, who's over there in Australia as well. And she sent me this document regarding Department of Infrastructure, Transport, Cities, and Regional Development. And this is a proposal for fast rail, which is a new, high-speed rail, and it's not a coincidence. And also, by the way, Sherry Ives is on, and Sherry wanted to, because I'm seeing her in the chat, she sends her love down to you. She wanted you to know that, and a lot of other people in the chat are as well. Everybody's saying prayers for you all down there and for rain, and so just so that you know that, Tim. But back to this document, I know you can't see it because you're driving, but there is a proposal here. Sadly, a $20 million fast rail system, and it sadly, I mean, it is along the southeastern seaboard, or more mid area. Let's see, connecting capital cities. From Newcastle for Sydney to Newcastle, Melbourne to Greater Shepparton, and Brisbane to the regions of Moreton Bay and Sunshine Coast. Is this the area where there are fires, Tim? Yes?
Yeah, not all. If you zoom right in on the map, sometimes it's not truly lining up on where the line would go, but some of it is. But a lot of people are just looking at the map of the whole of Australia and then lining it up for the fires. But if you zoom right in to a detailed map, sometimes the fires aren't exactly on that line, but sometimes it is. So it's plausible, but 100% of the fires aren't necessarily directly on where that is, because when you look at the terrain, they will not be building the train up in the hills where there'd have to be tunnels and huge cuts. It would throw the cost of it out by 100 times what it could be by them following areas where it's flatter. But some of those areas where it's flat, train
we're losing Tim. Good. The internet is just kind of wigging out for a second, Tim, just so you know.
burns.
Okay, there you go.
So 60%. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're good. It just, the internet is a little in and out, but it's okay. I think we're doing okay. What about the animals? What is the, for the people, is there any kind of effort? Is there any local effort of people who are announcing that they're taking in animals? Or I really want to focus right now on the animal aspect of this, because these are innocent little animals, and I've kind of had it with,
Yep.
This is so sad. You're sideways, Tim. But hey, you're actually upside down, so it's pretty appropriate, because all the people in Australia are actually upside down, right, mate? Now, okay, you're right side up now. It's a little tough on the head being upside down there, huh? Okay. Trying to inject a little humor there. Okay. You're back. Tell us about the animals. These are innocents here. And what happened to all the people who boarded those Navy ships?
A bit like fluff all day, and it's like they're stoned on marijuana. It keeps them in a sleepy. They're sleepy.
Yeah.
So climb up a tree, not run away. So it's unfortunate for the koalas. I guess we'll know. They're talking about extinctions and that, but I'm a bit skeptical that it's too early to say, because there's other areas where there's koalas that are alive, but I think the total numbers in Australia would have been impacted hugely. So certain groups, because there's groupings of different koalas, and they're being separated, so they have different bloodlines.
Okay.
There would be a lot have been wiped out, but there's probably areas where fires haven't hit, where there's still koalas. So there are still koalas.
Okay. Sorry, we have a little bit of a delay, so we'll try to work with it. Sherry is asking that there was a story of people culling the camels down because they were drinking too much water. Is that true? Is there any truth to that? Because it's really upset her.
They've been talking about doing camel cull. Camels aren't natural to here. They were brought in back in the times when they built railway lines, and they used people from Afghanistan
to walk with them because they were used to walking around in the desert. You know, so that's where our train line from Adelaide to Darwin gets the name Garn. The train's called the Garn because of Afghanistan, and they hired these Afghanis with their camels because camels, you know, are better than horses. So they introduced them to Australia. But, you know, some of them got away and they're bred up and they're in the outback. They do drink water, but, you know, reading that story, I did not open it up and read the full thing and see who's publishing it.
Right.
So it's partially true, but the whole drought thing and then saying they're going to kill them all because they're drinking too much water, it seems like they're throwing that story onto the drought. And it is true, but it sounds a bit glorified by throwing that truth onto the drought thing. They were, before there was going to be a drought, they've been talking about killing the like doing a cull of the camels anyway.
Jeez.
So irrespective of whether they're drinking too much water during drought, it was already something that was a political event. So I'm wondering if that article was politicizing the drought to emphasize the cull. You know, it's hard to say. It may be true, or it might be a political, you know, push going on there.
Well, one of our viewers in chat has said the corporate masters are drinking, stealing our energy, and must be culled. Okay, so we get that. They're taking our water. Look, you posted, Tim, you had sent me a link to a fisherman who clearly said that the Darling water stream there is almost completely depleted of water, which is unheard of. The fish are dead lying on shore. That was a horrible story. How did the water just disappear? I mean, in that much water.
Well, apparently, this is the story. The Chinese bought up some of these outback stations off, you know, some European, Australian background farmers who had these huge areas of land. And in the outback, they're like stations. So there's really no fences. And they go for thousands of kilometres without fencing. And anyway, apparently the story goes that these Chinese corporations have bought up some of these areas.
Can you hold your mic? Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. So these Chinese corporations, or you know, have bought up these areas and then made huge dams, and then they've been given licenses through certain government agencies in Australia to suck the water out and fill up these dams for irrigation or whatever the purposes are. And now there's even stories hearing of Chinese companies that have water, trucking it into areas and selling it back to the Australian public. What the hell? But I've got a co-worker who lives in Queensland and has connections throughout those regions that he talks about. And he said he sees in Facebook these photographs of these dams, supposed dams by the Chinese, and he says that a lot of the photos are 18 months old, and some of the Chinese companies have already sold up and taken all their people out, and it's just skeleton now, but the story is still holding, so it's hard to know exactly what's going on there. It's like someone needs to get in, take off from an airport in a small plane, and fly over these areas and do reconnaissance, see exactly what the situation is now. Not based on photographs that have been floating around on Facebook for a year and a half, and then everyone's seeing that sometimes the first time and assuming that photograph is representing today now. But that guy, it's that guy that's talking with a hat on, the farmer. You know, it's a matter of checking the dates of that too. And I'm not excusing it here. It's still valid. there is definitely something going on there. The rain falls, which is technically it's an act of God. The rains fall on land, and yet there seems to be this corporate takeover of water ownership, and some powerful people in Canberra that are able to pass legislation and laws that entitles these foreign investors in our country to water rights at the expense of our at the expense of our common people not being able to get water and having water restrictions on their township.
Tim, I'm screen sharing the video right now, and it's showing, I know you're saying you don't know when it was, but it looks like a huge river basin here. I mean, at least a stream, and it's like empty. It's empty. It's gone.
Around for 3 or 4 months, that video. Hello?
Yeah, I don't know if you're on your car
you're
phone.
back.
Are you on your Bluetooth, or are you on your earbuds? Because it did change. Tim? He might cut in and out. I'm screen sharing this video. Let me know when you're back, Tim. Tim?
I got
You can hear me? Okay. I was just screen sharing this, showing this riverbed behind, this lake bed here behind, or river rather, behind this gentleman. It's completely gone. And you're saying that it's possible that this is one of the areas that the Chinese are buying up this water, or they're buying up the dams, they're taking the water. You know, okay, we lost, I'm not sure if Tim is back. Let's check this out. Tim? Yeah. You know what, Tim, you can take your video. You could take your video off and get better bandwidth if you want. If you turn your video off, just press the stop. Just press the stop video button, my friend. If you press stop video, not the recording, but if you press stop video, we'll get better. Oh man, that didn't go well. Bear with us, folks. We're doing a lot. Yeah. Yeah. We were just having some trouble with the.
I can hear you.
You can hear me now? Okay. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, we're just trying to get the. We're trying to get the broadcast. Get this internet a little bit more stable at the moment. Okay, are you there, Tim?
Is that better? That's better.
Yeah. If you yeah, if you go onto just the voice, then if you turn your video off, mate, then you'll have higher bandwidth. So you might want to do that. Just hit stop video. But you're driving, so never mind. Just keep going. So what's the plan?
Right.
Oh, that's good, because it just puts a picture up of you, but we can still hear you talking. It might just be a little bit better bandwidth for you.
Yep.
Yeah, so can you give us an idea what the status is? I mean, how many people are left homeless, and what is this what is it called? Koala Island? Is that what it's called? Or Kangaroo Island? What is it?
Yeah, Kangaroo Island, which is off South Australia. It's famous for greenies and all likes who want to get out in nature. It's a really nice place to visit, and it's like the whole island is a reserve. Yeah, and it's all burnt, including this big facility that was a building put there in the bush. You know, for people to go where they can learn stuff. You know, and it's all run by parks and wildlife people. So you know, like you have in America and Canada, like Yogi Bear and his friends wearing the green, the park rangers. It's the same sort of deal, but the Australian version of that. So parks people, yeah, they wear green and they look after flora and fauna, and they're a part of a government agency. Yeah, and there's stories floating around that there's lithium on that island, which is a really strange thing to read about, actually, because you're like, wow,
Yeah.
really? And so is that why they're burning it? And is there really lithium? Because we know with 5G and robotics and in Star Trek sort of society, lithium is needed for, you know, our phones, robotics, computers.
So people it looks like people
and all
want
that
to.
5G stuff.
Oh, sorry.
It's one of those things like
Right. There's a lot of raw materials, and it's not. Look, Tim, I heard today I posted a report on our news page that only 13% of people in New Zealand have complied with the gun confiscation laws. It's been an absolute failure. The people in New Zealand get it. They know that as soon as they give up their guns, it's all over. So it's been a colossal failure for the New Zealand government. Now, you're not that far from New Zealand there. Are people going to wake up and shake up this guy? What was his name that you were just saying? Morrison, Scott Morrison. He's getting ready to be ousted, isn't he?
Say that last bit, sorry. You cut in and out.
Yep.
The New Zealand, yep.
Yeah, the gun confiscation has been a failure because only 16%, either 13 or 16%, have complied with it. They get it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. New Zealand has often been ahead of Australia in consciousness. I guess Australia's been more suppressed and more brainwashed, whereas New Zealanders, they're a lower population, and I don't think their government has, for a long time, kept out. They've had policies they're a very green country. They've kept out nuclear weapons. They didn't want US warships carrying nuclear weapons to come into their space. So I've watched over the years as New Zealand has been, what's the word? More self-respectful and sovereign than Australia. But then again, we hear the stories of the cabal wanting to use New Zealand as an escape.
Hi, Tim.
Hey, Tim. We have another Aussie. We have another Aussie joining us, Tim. It's Steve.
G'day, Tim.
Hello.
Yeah, how are you? How are you at the gates of hell?
Good.
How are the gates of hell? How do they look?
I missed
Can
that.
you hear me?
I missed that.
Steve, you're a little bit low. Yeah, he asked, "How are the gates of hell? How does it look there?" Yeah, we have our other Aussie who's actually in Vienna right now. Steve has just joined us. Great to be here. Great that.
Awesome.
I didn't know we were recording. Okay.
Yeah, we're live. We're actually live streaming.
Oh, you're live.
It will get better. If I cut out, you two just talk and.
Oh no, you keep going. I don't want to bother you.
It will get better.
No, you know what, Tim? Let me just ask.
Right now it's raining a little bit, and I'm actually driving through thick smoke. It smells very strong. There's an orange-grey sort of thick fog in the air, but it's raining through it, but it's not clearing it.
Yeah,
So
Steve.
it's really
Steve,
weird.
let me ask Steve a question real quick, Tim. Steve, you're from Australia. You're a native of Melbourne, and you've been talking to friends of yours there, Steve. What have you?
Oh yeah, I've been keeping close contact with people in 3 different cities: Melbourne, Sydney, and Adelaide, and they're all telling me pretty much the same thing. Of course, there are the one in Sydney said that the rain was brief and didn't bring enough relief, and people are panicking. You know, people are really depressed, and it's they're a lot of them are blaming it, of course, on climate change. That's sort of and the other half is sort of blaming it on the Greens that don't allow for fire breaks. They've been allowing the bush to overgrow, and they haven't been clearing wood. So they've got sort of like 2 camps down there, from what I've been hearing.
Got it.
Yeah.
Do you want to ask Tim anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, how's it go? Where are you at the moment, Tim?
Tim, he asked, where are you at the moment? I'm not sure you can hear Steve well. Tim, can you hear me?
I think
Sorry,
it could be
say
a latency thing. Could be a latency thing.
Yeah, it might be latency. Steve was asking, where are you at? Where are you right now? Where are you driving through, my friend?
Give me a few minutes. I'm not picking up much.
Okay.
Oh, he's got a bad signal. Okay.
Yeah, he's driving. He's driving.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I see. I see.
so it's going to
Yeah.
be stable in and out. So Tim, jump back in when you've got. You seem like you're okay right now. Yeah.
I heard you now.
Okay. Good. Yeah. So.
Yep. Gotcha.
So where are you driving through now, Tim?
Try again.
Where are you driving through now?
On the way to Coffs Harbour. Well,
Oh, right.
I'm really on the way to, yeah.
Queensland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you
pretty
seeing
much
any
in the direction
smoke?
of Queensland. Yeah, I'm heading in the direction of Brisbane.
Brisbane.
Yeah, there is a lot of thick smoke around. In part, I heard it's thicker. The people in Canberra right now have got it pretty bad.
Wow.
In Canberra, it's really bad. But if you have a look on the rain radar, there's light rain around, but it's doing bugger all. It's only certain parts that are getting supercell thunderstorms, and it rains heavy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very isolated event. So just because people are talking about rain, it doesn't mean that the fires are over. In fact, tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday are going to be hotter days with 33, 35, and 37, which is not quite getting up in the 40s like we had a week or two ago, which was ridiculous.
Right.
But still, with strong winds and low humidity, that's the case. Yeah, we've got to see what happens in the next 3 days. The fires could go to red alert again, evacuate, emergency warning and evacuate warnings.
All right, we have
of course, there's another 9 weeks to go. But
Man.
yeah, like Steve said, people are very depressed. A lot of people who were planning activities for New Year's Eve, they spent New Year's Eve right through midnight while everyone in the world, was celebrating with the fires going off. Some people were running around with a hose, stopping, spot fires that were happening all around their houses and trying to save their houses and didn't get any sleep for 24 hours. So people have been in their jobs working all year, paying their bills, paying their mortgages, paying that, and then they're suddenly having to defend their houses in some towns like Cudgegore or Corryong. I heard in Cudgegore, where some of my co-workers are, 15 houses were lost, and the houses that were saved were the ones that fire trucks were at as a backup support. So the ones who were unfortunate just couldn't get a truck there, or the truck pulled up at a fire that was approaching a house before theirs. And so while the fire truck was dealing with stopping a house being burned, another house got caught on fire. So it was a bit of lottery in those little communities where you might have had, only 40 houses in the whole township, but those houses have been there a long time. Some of them are over 100-year-old houses, so they're historical little villages, and one house goes, the other one doesn't, and it's just unfortunate.
All right, let me ask Steve a question. Steve, what the friends of yours that you're talking to over there, are they organizing? How can we help? Maybe I'll ask Steve, and then I'm going to ask Tim. What's the best way people can help?
Well, there's
I'll let Tim.
It's okay. It's okay.
Hey, sorry?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah,
it's all good.
Please,
all good.
Please do. Please go ahead.
It will get better again in a minute. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, you can't hear us. That's probably what's going on.
That's what's it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Is that better?
All right, hold on 1 minute, Tim. Go ahead, Steve. Is there what can you
Yeah,
tell us about?
there are. The government has organised some charity, some emergency funds. I don't know the links, but I've heard of them talked about. It'll be an easy search on the internet if you really want to help. I think also some local communities are doing it themselves. So I think it's hard to know because these are out in the middle of nowhere places.
Right.
So I think people are still in shock, and I think it'll take a while before people actually. I mean, some people just have whole towns have been wiped out. A friend of mine who used to be the mayor of one of the towns in Gippsland, which is eastern Victoria, south of eastern Australia, he said the whole town was wiped out. So it's there's just no infrastructure. I don't know what they're doing. So
Okay.
I'm sure you heard about the people being rescued off the beach by a ship, a military ship. So
Yes.
it's just insane. I mean, it's not everywhere, of course. We don't want people to think the whole country's on fire, but it is in many areas. That's for sure.
Tim, are you back with us? Thanks for that, Steve.
Yeah, I got to go. Just want to say hi. Take care.
Okay, well, thanks for dropping in,
Ciao,
Steve,
ciao.
and thanks for
Ciao,
giving
ciao.
us that update. Okay.
See you, Tim. Take care. Take care of yourself, mate.
Go ahead. Thank you, Steve.
It's really good to hear your voice again after seeing you in person.
In Sydney. That's right. That's right. It was good. All right. Take care.
Anytime. Thank you, Steve.
Stay safe.
Steve,
Ciao, ciao.
Steve, our viewers are saying thank you, and they appreciate the boots on the ground.
No worries.
Thank
Okay.
you, Steve. Okay.
Bye for now.
Bye. Thanks for coming by. Okay, so Tim, what do you think? Is there okay? So Steve said that there's local charities and that the government has set up some websites, I guess, for helping, I guess, donating. I did see a video clip of some firefighters from the United States, specialized firefighters, arriving in the airport there in Australia. What else? What can people do? We are so heartbroken for all of you down there. What can we do to help?
Well, there's the GoFundMe pages. What would be really good is if we need to truly find out some facts to find out if the bush has been burnt deliberately and if we can prove that if some people can get out there and be spies and take photos and catch these bastards in the act, and then that wakes Australia up, that would also turn the Australian people against the government for knowing this. Oh God, there's a guy in a hang glider, like one of them, what do you call them, a little motorised glider, in thick smoke. At first I thought it was a stealth bomber doing a big U-turn.
Okay.
But yeah, we need people to be awake and alert and keep their eyes open and look for the signs.
Yeah.
We need to be able to be smarter. We need to be smarter than whoever may be behind this, and discover the truth and get that out there, and not just have it as theories, but be able to prove it and
Right.
and expose this, and then because when you can see something is real, then light is information, right? And then information, people can act on it.
Yeah.
Therefore,
Tim, what do you think about? I think one of the issues a lot of people have is that they don't feel like they can trust. They don't feel like they can trust charities that they don't know. Clearly, after what happened with Haiti, very few people really trust the Red Cross. But I'll be on, like, in terms of the Red Cross as the administrative entity, the good men and women who volunteer for the Red Cross, they're good people. They're doing good work. But what do you think about, Tim? I think that viewers would like to know the people. They'd like to know something about the people. What do you think that we should set up a GoFundMe and you disseminate this to local people as you see fit in order to help people or to help the animals, to help supply, bring food to the animals? People are doing this out of people are helping these animals out of the cost of their own pocket, not even knowing what's happening with their own communities. Would you be willing to do that, Tim? If I set up a a GoFundMe from the GoldFish Report, and that you would be handling, helping people as you see uh, the need for help.
Hello. Yeah,
Did you hear
I
anything?
missed most of that. I picked up about the Red Cross and people not being able to trust organisations, and something about GoFundMe with GoldFish Report. Are you planning on doing a GoFundMe? Are you?
Well, I was asking only in conjunction with you, my friend, because you're there. And if we were to do this together,
Yeah.
would you be able to disseminate funds to people who directly need them, especially people who are helping take care of these animals and rescue the animals, because they're going to need food and supplies.
I believe I can, because I do know people who are spiritually orientated, who even follow me on Facebook, who are directly involved with some of the fire situations. And I even have a co-worker whose wife is a nurse who's got a GoFundMe page, and she's been out there working. I can vouch for that because, it's through my work as well, and it's like my boss. I've got to do the right thing by my boss, and so
Of
these
course.
are other people that work under my boss. So there's that one. There's other people. There's some people around that have got some Facebook pages that help areas. But there's area specific ones as well. There's some for the Upper Murray, but then there's different fires, different regions, different areas, like over on the coast with Malakuta and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's definitely
Okay.
people that.
Okay, well, what we could do is we could start right now, because any funds that come in would be directly sent to your PayPal for you to disseminate to people who need them. So if there's any viewers who want to help, you can do that right now. You can either put in a super chat, or you can go to the goldfishreport.com, where there's a donate button, and please indicate in the note section that this is for Australia, and every penny will go to Australia. I don't know what else to do. I really, I think, Tim, because we have this great association, I think people trust both of us. I don't know, how much we can raise, but whatever we raise will go to help in any way that is necessary. So that's all we can do. I don't feel like I can't go there tomorrow, but you're already there. So, we work together like this because we're all in this together. Even though you're all the way in the southern hemisphere, it doesn't matter. It's we're all brothers and sisters. We all have to help each other. And these little animals, there's so many. I really hope that people can get out more into the bush and try, without putting themselves in great harm, but try to help save and rescue some more of these animals. It's wonderful to see the people out there who are doing that. And these are people who are going to need help. They're going to need help taking care and feeding these animals. So many of them are burned and injured, and they need care. I'm sure the resources are overwhelmed. So let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do, and let's really try to help. We will do that, Tim. We will do what we can. We will raise funds. We will help. If anybody um, wants to contribute, you can do that, or you could wait till I set up a GoFundMe page. I did set up one once a while ago, but it didn't go very far. But it was for a different purpose. And that's why. I mean, it didn't really go. I didn't really promote it much, and it was for a good cause, but it wasn't. It wasn't. I didn't really know how to work it that well then and all of that, but I think now, we'll be okay. And I think that people know who you are and they know who we are. So I think people would feel comfortable. YouTubers would feel comfortable. Yeah.
I've had a few people who follow me on Facebook private message me saying that they want to donate money to different groups. So I've given them some, and they've done so. I contacted the person who's behind one of them here in Australia, and she was really rapt that for her being in a small rural area, and me being Mr. Because a lot of people around me who know me know that I do YouTube bits and post all this weird stuff on Facebook, and suddenly these people seeing that they can utilize what I do to help them. And so when I say I've got a heap of people over in the USA and that want to assist and so on, they're seeing how useful what I do can be to their situation, when previously I'm just a weirdo who talks about weird stuff on Facebook that's not mainstream, So suddenly there's a position here to be able to bring some people from overseas, from all over the world who watch me to be supportive to the cause. Like the RV hasn't gone,
Right.
But maybe this is some sort of practice too, because it's about the true government is the people. And the government is meant to represent the will of the people, but sometimes the government behaves as if it's an isolated body that oversees the people, and it has all this red tape and bureaucracy and wants to do things a certain way. And then people are finding that that's not good enough, and so they're getting together and doing it in a way that is actually faster and more effective, which is showing how ineffective an organised government can be because of the way it's set up. And if there's any extraterrestrial eyes on the earth right now, they'll be watching with great interest how people are actually going, well, there's no point going through this system that's slow and we can't trust and the integrity of it and that, so let's just do it ourselves through the power of social media. So that's a really, really interesting phenomena that is occurring right there. It's showing true people power.
It is about people power, and you know what? Our viewers already know who we are, and I think they trust us more than they would trust, an unknown organization. So I think that, as a media outlet, I feel an obligation and a duty. I feel more of a duty, and not just as a media outlet, as a human being. I mean, I feel a duty to help our brothers and sisters in Australia. And since I have the media apparatus, this is what we're here to do. So I'm happy to do this. And if anybody wants to donate, they could go. If you want to get started now and get money moving, you could go donate at thegoldfishreport.com. There's a donate button there. Please specify that if you'd like to do that, what your intention is for the donation, until we get a GoFundMe page set up. And it might take, I don't know how long it will take, because it has to be linked to a bank account and all this stuff. So it could take a couple of days for that to get set up. So in the meantime, you can always go there and start this, because I mean, Tim, you're going to be coming in contact directly with people on your off time. I mean, I'm not asking you to do this on your time that you work, but I think that, on your off time, you can certainly find people who need help, and just hand them $100 here, a couple $100 there, whatever we raise, Tim. People need it. This is an absolute dire emergency. Now, Tim, give us an update on your parents' home, because I know there's been their property's been at risk.
My parents' farmhouse is about 30 kilometres from one of the fires, which is burning in the northeast, up sort of between Falls Creek, Mount Buffalo, which is another sort of nature reserve that also has a little ski resort, the Buckland Valley, and it's coming in through Carbor, sort of towards Whitfield, which is the King Valley, the Ovens Valley. They're two rivers that flow down towards the town of Wangaratta, Victoria. And I've been watching this fire front. It's very like an octopus tentacle. It's going in a straight line as the wind blew it. It wasn't very wide, but was just pushing this octopus tentacle. And it's obvious. You can see what they're doing. If it's not natural and it's by deliberation, they're making them very long with the wind. And then when the wind changes, 90 degrees, then that fire then has a huge front because it's burnt out a tentacle path of 80 kilometers or something. Then the wind changes 90 degrees, then that 80 kilometers becomes a fire front that's moving, say, northward. And then there's a whole heap of towns and everything that come under fire. There's Myrtleford, there's Bright, there's Beechworth, there's it's Yakandanda. There's a whole so for the moment, I mean, between the fire and my parents' place, there's a lot of vineyards, like the famous Brown Brothers winery that's like globally known. You know, people in New York can buy Brown Brothers, restaurant there in New York City, so I've heard. So, but it's very some of the areas are green, but if the wind is strong, fire can spot ahead. But there would be a lot of grass fires to occur as it came out of the bush. It's in pine forest as well, which burns too well. But it would become a grass fire going across the valley that's being cleared for people's lands and cattle and sheep grazing and wine, vineyards and so on before it got to my parents. But, when you see fire spotting like that, it's like someone's driving around lighting more or they're being put there with lasers or whatever. I'm not sure. But
are there any other measures that your parents can take to protect their home? Are they taking all the measures they can?
They're in their mid-80s, so it wouldn't be in their best interest. And my father knows that, and I think they would just. They got suitcases sitting there on the couch. They have had so for at least a week or two now. So that when they need to, they go. And sometimes my father's been getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and checking online to see what the change in the fires are. Because you wouldn't want to be woken up with fire on your door and then jumping in the car and trying to leave smoke. So
I think what happened over in Paradise was people tried doing that, and it was too late. I mean, they were stuck in their car and essentially trapped there, and that's where they ended. I don't want to scare you or anything, but no, your parents, that's right.
Yeah, well, people panic and get out of their cars, and then they're running from the heat radiation. They can't see. They get in a panic, and then they run, and they can't see because it's so thick, and they can't breathe properly. Yeah. And so they're confused, and then they run into a fence. Right, this has been proven fact. Like after when people came to get all the bodies, they were all hooked up on the barbed wire on the fences, and they had to take the bodies that were burnt because they got trapped on the fences. Hopefully, they suffocated before they actually got burnt to death, and all these people hanging up on the fences that got out of their cars and ran away. This happened quite a many years ago, but there was a fire going across a paddock, and there was a freeway, and everyone just kept driving into it. And then some people decided to stop, and then the car is like a pile-up. You know how you have pile-ups in the US when it's icy?
Yes, when it's foggy or icy, right, exactly.
Yeah. So you can have the same thing happen here, and so people can die through the crashing in the pile-ups, or they got nowhere to go, and then the fire's there, and then they get out of the cars, and they're on foot, and the fire could be moving faster than you can run because it's jumping ahead because the wind could be coming sideways because it's catastrophic. It's actually a very life-threatening thing if you're in front of that fire on a hot day with that wind, those wind gusts. Then it creates its own weather system. And so you do not want to be in the path of that. That's when people get caught out. Like people might think, no, we're okay, but the next thing they can go, oh my God, how did we get in this? And then it's actually,
Tim, I mean, you don't know what's ahead of you. That's the problem. I mean, you might find yourself finding, yourself near a fire area, and you might find yourself grabbing a koala and sticking him in your car. You don't know what to expect, and that's the whole reality of it. And we have a viewer who sent a donation already, so I'm going to be sending that over to you tonight, Tim. So you hand it out to the next person that you feel that needs it, because we trust you, and
all right. Well,
what it's all about.
I'll communicate with the people I know that are doing GoFundMe, and I'll pass it on. So yeah.
I'd rather you like hand it to the people who need it if you find, when you see them, even if you just, I mean, like I said,
well,
because I'm going to do a GoFundMe.
I'll tell her what's unfolding right here, right now with you doing this, because this is unexpected. I'll talk to my boss.
It is unexpected.
My Mr. and Mrs. Boss, who live in Cancoban, which is right near Corryong, where there's some terrible stuff happened out there with people's farms and that. And I'm sure they can give me the names of actual people who have lost everything, and maybe I can do some sort of direct thing as well. And that's what
we mean, Tim. That's what we mean, because we don't know. Exactly. I'm sorry. I don't mean to talk over you, my friend. It's hard to know whether you can hear me or not. I'm sorry. That's the kind of help I like, because then I know that the money's going to somebody that, tangible, that you have a name to who the recipient is, like who people are, or even if you don't know.
Yeah, I had a co-worker on an excavator digging holes, burying sheep the other day. Co-worker can't get to work, so he's been driving around dropping these supplies off to people, like water and food, even if it's horrible 2-minute noodles or something. There's been farmers who were that tired, and that you drive along a country road and there's a guy lying 3 meters off the road, just lying there, and they pull up and say, "You all right?" And he goes, "I'm just tired, I'm having a sleep." And all the farmers are losing their bellies. They're all getting skinny. There's Jenny Craig weight loss scheme, but this is lack of food, no power, no functioning supermarkets, and all you can rely on is somebody to bring stuff in through the police check line, which is you've got the authorities there stopping people coming or going because of looting, and some of these are opening up again. But I've got one of my ex co-workers. He finished up working for us, and he's a freight driver between Albury and the Upper Murray. So I can communicate with him, and his wife is a naturopath, and she's into the whole health thing, and she's got a sister and there's all these connections I have in the spiritual community that are involved with people, directly in the Upper Murray. So I can find out stuff from even the freight driver, because he'll be going out there, and he'll be delivering stuff because of the fires. So he'll have a bit of an idea of what's going on, because he'll be going around to houses and businesses, and he'll know what's going on with that. So
look, Tim, I mean, even if somebody needs gas to drive to go somewhere, I mean, these are the kinds of things that happens. I mean, I was living at the Jersey Shore during Hurricane Sandy, and that's what it was like. I mean, it was crazy. It's like everybody needed everything. They needed food, they needed water, they needed a place to go, they needed batteries, they needed lighting. And then after Superstorm Sandy came, a nor'easter hit, which was almost worse. But boy, it got cold. It got really, really cold. And I had to go to a shelter, which I didn't like, but I had to do it because I had no way to heat my house. So the link to my site, I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
So Tim, I mean, this is what I'm saying. You're going to, because Tim drives around, you travel a lot for work, Tim. So if you even just see somebody that is affected, however they're affected, it doesn't matter. It's helping them. If somebody needs food, if somebody needs water, but if you see if these people are taking care of animals also, these people are going to need a lot of help, because I know, Tim, I wasn't planning on this becoming a fun drive either for Australia, but we're figuring this out like live as we're talking. And I think it's a great idea because our viewers know you, they know me, and they trust us, and we're grateful for them. And I'm happy to be, like I said, as a media outlet, I am happy. That's the purpose. That's the purpose I have, is when it comes to emergencies like this and things, is to be of the highest service that you can be. So, yeah. Yeah. So Barbara, thanks. I appreciate your message, because some people are saying that they would rather just donate, right to the PayPal, because GoFundMe also takes a very large percentage. It doesn't matter how you do it, folks. It's going to take me a few days to get the GoFundMe page set up. So if you want to go ahead and donate directly to PayPal, it will all be sent to Tim, and Tim will receive it, and he'll start giving it out as soon as possible. I just saw so many pictures of people collecting koalas, putting them in their car, baby koalas, collecting little baby joeys, firefighters.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And like those teenagers that had a whole heap of them in the back of the car.
Oh, bless their hearts.
Surely, like, what I'm not seeing is these facilities where the people that these animals at their homes and look after them. Surely they must be inundated, and they're going to need, support workers. That, it's not like there's a government agency that can just sort of put everyone on the payroll. So it'll be people that absolutely love it and do it for free. And there's phone numbers you can ring if you find an injured wildlife on the side of the road. Often they have a little number you can ring, and for some reason it's usually women in their middle-aged women who take these animals in and look after them in their home, and then re-release them to the wild if they can.
Yeah,
they've got mini private zoos. They're looking after injured animals.
I saw that.
Their love and passion.
These are brave Empress women. These are awesome people. And even the men, whoever, and those teenagers who filled their car full of these baby koalas. I think people are just in shock. Like Steve said, people are depressed. But I mean, if everybody does something to help each other, at least you know that you're helping one another. And you might, I think everybody's like taking it day by day, because there's really, you don't even know when these are going to get under control. We can definitely be doing prayers and meditations for rain and asking for more rain. I think so many people did, and they did get some rain. And it does work, but it's a crime against humanity, Tim, because we have cloud seeding technology. I shared it on my news channel, the news page. I reported on this. There's cloud seeding patents. We have patents for this technology. It's for generating increased precipitation. And there's no reason why these fires should still be burnt out of control like this. The deep state doesn't want to hand over this technology. They don't want to admit it exists, and that they can have a great control over the weather in many ways. And enough is enough. And you know what, folks? They're going to keep infringing on us step by every single day until we stand up and demand what is rightfully ours. We're sharing this planet. Everybody's entitled to benefit. To mankind is supposed to benefit from all technologies that are made on this planet that are here to benefit us. But they weaponize it. And so that's the problem. But we all have to do our part. We all have to stand up to this and say, we know this exists, and you need to release this technology and start using it. Now, am I a scientist? No. Am I a physicist? No. I don't know exactly how it works. But the technology is there, and they can generate. Look, we even have orgone. We had who was that scientist, Tim? And maybe our viewers know. Who was that scientist who they shut him down? He orgonite. He discovered this orgone in the air, and he knew how to create rain for farmers who are suffering from drought. What was his name? Began with an O. Come on, my viewers. I know you know who I'm talking about. What was his name?
Yeah, I can't remember his name. It's gone from me right now.
I know the viewers know. Come on, guys. I know you guys know. What was his name? Didn't it begin with an O, or his last name began with an O? He discovered this, and of course they shut him down. And so, look, we're either gonna we're either going to kick these globalists off who are abusing humanity, or we're going to be destroyed by them. And that's the only option that we have. You know? So I appreciate Tim. I'm glad. I mean, you always had the...
Sometimes not getting anything, I don't know why, but I get some of it and some of it drops out. But
okay.
I do have to get off. I have to
Okay.
stop shortly, do a fuel stop, and otherwise I run out of fuel. And
yeah, you don't want to do that while you're driving.
No.
Too. That happened to me once. I was
Luckily,
driving.
where I'm going to, the fires aren't too bad, and they've already sort of burnt out where the freeway is anyway. But I'll be passing through many of them.
Tim, don't run out of gas. I ran out of gas driving through the desert in New Mexico. I'm not kidding you. I pulled into the gas station on fumes, literally on fumes. It was like 1/10 of a mile to go before zero, it said on the car. It was so bad. We just lost track of the gas. We were just driving cross country. So don't run out of gas. Wilhelm Reich, thank you. I knew our viewers had this. Wilhelm Reich. I don't know where the O came from. I'm always wrong.
Well, I do that all the time. Yeah, I think this letter and then
yeah, it's not that letter at all. Exactly. Thank you, Slim Frank. Exactly, Slim. Yep, you should. Thanks, guys. I knew you guys knew this. I knew you guys could look it up, or would I knew you guys knew it. So, look, mate. Yep. Thanks for joining me. Please, keep us updated on what's going on down there, and
there's some swamps on fire too. Like where there's been swamps that are usually wet all year round, it's so dry that these swamps have vegetation in them, and they've warned people don't go anywhere near the swamps because everything's burnt underneath, and you could step on the ground and you could fall in a hole up to your hips, and your legs will get burnt like by thousands. You might as well drop into a hole in a volcano. So that's going on too.
Well, don't put yourself in harm's way to help anybody, Tim. But because we need you to be the man that's got some help.
The swamp material is burning, like the peat. The peat moss is that dry, it's burning under the ground. That's how dry it is. Like, how interesting.
That's crazy.
Normally it's soaked in water, and it's a swamp. Normally it's a swamp. A couple of feet of water, boggy, muddy ground.
Yeah.
Vegetation, like you hear about in Florida.
Hey, well, Tim, thanks for joining me and the viewers. And yes, they were all right. Orgonite. That's where the O came from, but it wasn't his name with the O. It was just because Orgonite. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Sherry, Slim, all you guys. You're so good. I knew you guys would know. So, yeah. So this is what we're going to do. We just decided during this broadcast. So we're going to, it's going to take a few days though. So if anybody wants to, whatever you donate, folks, it's going to go directly to Tim. And Tim can start helping people. I mean, even if he sees people that are helping animals, they're going to need help. So, I mean, Tim, we trust your judgment that you are going to be able to, help people who need it. And I don't think there's any restrictions on it. You're a very high vibrational person. You're a very good-hearted person, and I don't think there's anybody more that they would trust than you with their money. So, to make the right decision on who needs it.
Yeah, well, thanks. Yeah, and I'll ask my boss who needs what, and I'm sure she can get me connected. It'll be a little side mission to my day job, but it involves people I work with because they're directly involved in it. Like my Mr. Boss, the husband, he's actually rang me yesterday because he needed to send a drone up from the top of a hill because it's so foggy. He needed my knowledge on how to use the drone up, like so he could go up above and the smoke line to see if he could see where the fires are, because they're sitting around waiting. And in one way, they wish the fire would just hurry up and come in and do its thing, because while they're waiting for the fire to pass, they can't get back to their normal duties of life. So there's all these people waiting out, which fires all around them, wondering what's going to happen. And it's like as soon as they get out of town and go, that's probably when it would come in, and then they're not there to defend it. So people are waiting in some places, and fire's been somewhere else and destroyed everywhere else, but it's missed one place. But they have to be in that place in order to make sure they're there to protect it. And then the weather changes. So on one level, they're like, just hurry up and come through.
Right.
At least come through safely under low temperatures. At least burn through in those low temperatures, just like the Aboriginals used to do, you know?
Right.
Because they're waiting for it and it's not coming. And then they're waiting for the temperatures to change and the terrible winds, and then it would probably get to them within half an hour. But at the moment, it's like it'll never get there. But they've got to be there to look after the assets, their houses and all their business assets, you know, sheds and all the equipment and everything. So, and then, you know, they know all the farmers. They're all having meetings and community calls all the time. There's people from outside of town that sit in rooms in offices in big cities coming and telling them that they all have to evacuate. And a lot of them said, we're not evacuating. So that, they're not believing what the authorities are telling them all to get out, and they're suspicious of that. And so they're not. And it seems that whenever everyone agrees and gets out, they seem to be the ones that get burned. So what's going on there? You know, is it just coincidence, or is there something more going on in this?
So I think that this is a good start. I think that, you know, we're not going to be so helpless that I think to stand by and just watch this and feel helpless about it. We can organize and we can help from the United States here all the way to Australia. It's not a problem. Tim, I can imagine that you're saying that the water, I mean, it's is an issue that the water is you know, that supplies and things are low. I mean, this is where the really, really big government, you know, the governments themselves have to be providing some of that kind of thing, because sending a case of water is not going to help anybody. But, you know, the money is going to be the biggest help. People who may need to go to hotels, I mean, obviously the government's going to have to help them with that too. But for those who can stay in their home, for people who are helping animals, they're going to need they're going to need help. I mean, they're bandaging up these animals. They've got casts, they've got supplies, they've got to feed them, they've got to buy. I saw this one video where they had like little baby bassinets, like little like they were like playpens, you know, for babies, and the koalas each had a place in there. You know, they're doing whatever they can, and we're going to help them. They're not going to be suffering through this alone. So I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody joining us tonight. And Tim, I especially appreciate you, you know, joining me and giving us an update on what's going on down there.
Yeah, I'm missing some of that. For some reason, I'm not getting 4G, and it comes in for 5 seconds and it's gone for 3 seconds and back in for 5 seconds. But I've pulled up now, and I really do have to get in the queue and get some fuel and keep going. So I'll get off it now. And
can you hear me, Tim?
I'll communicate with you during the day or night or when you wake up or whatever, and work out what the plan is and take these actions, and I'll talk to my boss and everything.
That would be great. It was great to. Can you hear me now, Tim?
Yeah, can I hear me now? I got that, and then it went quiet.
Okay. I'm not quite sure if you can hear me, but we want to thank you so much for joining. You know, joining us and giving us this update. Can you hear that, Tim? Okay, I guess we got it in a bad area. So It was pretty good. Most of this recording was pretty good, Tim. So thank you for joining me, my friend. Thank you so much, and be safe down there.
Yeah, you're still cutting in and out. It must be it must be really busy here with all the towers or something. It's really weird.
Yeah, must be. With the as soon as I mentioned globalists.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Tim. Well, thanks so much, my friend, and be safe.
I'll talk to you a bit later.
Yep. Yeah, we'll talk later. Be safe down there.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Thanks, my friend. Yeah. Okay. So long.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. I'm going to stay on for a minute just to kind of. I'm reading some of the comments in the. Sherry Ives says she loves you guys, loves you. So thank you, Sherry, for that. And of course, Barbara and Slim is with us. To all the viewers, Pork Chop. I love that name. Pork chop. Colleen, Shari, Barbara, William, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I do appreciate all of you. And I think, in this full moon energy as well, this is just something that we needed to do. We just needed to, the need is there. And I think, like I said, a lot of Americans don't trust a lot of these big charities. And why not have boots on the ground? Why not have boots on the ground who can help? So I don't know if you're still there, Tim, but I just want to thank you again, my friend, for joining me today.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'm just gonna get out of my car. Just
okay.
In a second, so.
I'm gonna disconnect your connection then. Okay, so you don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
Okay, we'll talk later, Tim. Thanks.
Okay. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye. Okay, so I had to remove Tim because he had to go, but I just wanted to, let our viewers know that. Let me close this side here so I can see everybody's chat. Yeah, pork chop, cheeseburger. Yeah, it's a funny name or nickname or whatever. So as I was saying, I think I think people, Tim is. I think you could trust Tim, no question, no problem. So I'm happy about that. I feel like we accomplished something. I think, oh, thank you, Dr. Arden. You're always a great viewer to all of our viewers. Thank you so much. What was I saying? Sorry. I feel good about what came out of this live broadcast tonight. We did not go into it starting a fundraising effort, but clearly we have the ability to do this. I have the media network. We are on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We are on blogs. We're all over the place. Obviously YouTube, BitChute, we're everywhere. So why not utilize, do a service to humanity, to the people, and make sure that we can do what we can to help. And of course, Tim is already on the ground there. So, if he sees people who need it, he's going to help them. So we're going to come up with this. You can watch, stay tuned over the next couple of days, over the next week or so. It's going to take some time to get the GoFundMe page up and running. Tonight, again, I wanted to make sure whoever's watching that you're funny. My hair is itching, my face. Thank you, Anna Clara. Tonight's broadcast, the live stream with Audrey Ewis, it was a super chat Q&A, has to be canceled because Audrey had a medical emergency and had to have emergency surgery. Yeah. So please say your prayers for Audrey too. And we were all going to be, keeping him in our prayers as well. It's just time for us to come together. I mean, we're all one, really. We're all brothers and sisters. We just have to, we're here to learn. We're not here to be so judgmental. Everybody needs a break. Everybody needs, second chance. People learn, people make mistakes, and that's what we do here. We make mistakes, we learn, we grow. But also, I'm just feeling, especially this full moon, more and more connected with everybody, especially animals. I mean, I've always been connected to animals, but right now, like, I'm crying when I'm watching these videos of these poor little animals. I can't even handle it. My kids don't even know what to make of it. They've never seen me so weepy before, but I'm just so connecting energetically. The energies that are coming onto the planet are just, uniting us. They're in wonderful, loving energies, and we're all in this together. So I really appreciate everybody. Yeah, we've been separated by design. You're absolutely right, Barbara. And Anna Clara, thank you so much for keeping Audrey in his prayers. We'll be back. I also want to mention that I'm sorry, this headset. Sorry. Next week, there's going to be a live super chat Q&A with Alex Collier. So you're not going to want to miss that. You're going to want to watch closely to our posts. I'm going to be posting that on the community section of YouTube. So I think everybody knows what the community section is. It's just when you go to the YouTube channel, there's like a little link that says, about, or videos, or community. So it might show up in your news feed if you're a subscriber. If you're not, please subscribe. Please hit the like button because that helps keep the report circulating to more people. But we'll post it on Twitter. We're going to post it on our Facebook news page, and we're also going to have it posted on the community board. So yeah, Barbara, I know. Look, I've waited 4 years to get Alex Collier on the GoldFish Report. I'm so excited about it. And what's really nice is, I'm sorry, with these Q&As, it gives you guys access to our guests that ordinarily you wouldn't have access to. You'd have to pay like a lot of money to go to these conferences to maybe talk to them, and maybe they wouldn't even have time to do, to talk and all that. But it's a really great way that you can ask and interact. They are super chats, so it is to help support the channel, and to sometimes to help to support the guests as well in their work. And that's how we can stay doing this, is through special kind of access. Now, the first hour is an interview. The information is free to everybody, but if you want to have that extra special, you have that burning question, and you have a few bucks in your pocket, then ask away, because the floor is going to be yours. So yeah, I know, Shari, Alex, exactly. Now we did an interview with Alex. When was it? November or December? And he was going to come back to do a Q&A. So now we're all ready for that, and I'm really excited about it. So, and that's going to be a long one too. This last one with Audrey Ewis was like 3 hours, and these are people who have great insight, and it's like I don't mind going that extra hour. I don't mind going into a third hour for that, because there's a lot of people that have a lot of questions. So I'm putting that out there. Slim, Honeybee, Elizabeth, Shari, William, Pork Chop, love that name. Colleen, by design, Anna Clara, all the people who have joined us tonight in the chat. What is this? Sempiternal. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Barbara, Anna, Major, all lovely, wonderful people. Honeybee, Jeanette F., all you lovely people, thank you so much. And thank you, Jeanette F. And if you made a donation, thank you very much. I'm going to send that over to Tim right away. I think I have his PayPal. He left without giving it to me, but I have his, I think I have it. If not, then he'll give it to me, and I'll send that to him right away. So I'm going to close up now, folks. Those are the announcements. So keep an eye out for this. Now, as soon as Audrey is feeling better, we will reschedule the Q&A with Audrey Ewis. So we were, whether it was like an attack of some kind, okay? And so of some nature. And it just came out of nowhere. I mean, I was talking to him, and the next thing you know, he just started suddenly, collapsing, and didn't go well. Had to go to the hospital. So he had an issue he had to deal with. But we were planning on talking about some interesting physics tonight. Physics, what was it? We were planning on talking about right, Alex was 400. Yeah, like I should remember that, right? I just don't remember the date that it was. But yeah, Alex was my 400, exactly. And it was a big deal. Okay. 6:11 Greenwich Mean Time tomorrow morning. So go to the portal, 2012portal.blogspot.com. Here, I'll put that in the link here. Here we go. 2012 portal. Yeah. Okay. So that's Cobra's website. I believe that's correct. Guys, check that for me. 2012portal.blogspot.com. That's the link to the meditation, because some people are talking about the meditation over here. And that's for tomorrow. So yeah, not a problem. So keep a lookout for that. We will reschedule. Audrey will come back when he's feeling better and he's recovered. He'll explain, whatever he wants to explain. But basically, we're doing a yes, Slim. We're going to talk about plasma physics. Oh, what a great topic! I had Penny Kelly on recently. Actually, not that long ago. It wasn't really recent, but it was a little while ago with Patty Greer and talking about crop circles and talking about plasma physics. So plasma, the fourth state. And we were also talking about photoradionics, which is part of the propulsion system for the craft that they use. So great stuff. And, is it a coincidence? Something happened to Audrey, so he couldn't come on and talk about this tonight. I don't know. There's mysterious things in the world. Maybe it was for his best good. Maybe he had an angel protecting him. Who knows? But we're not going to be able to do that broadcast tonight. But when he is feeling better, we will definitely reschedule that, and I will announce it again. Look for it at the community board on YouTube, because I think it's easy for everybody to find that. And also, we will be doing this live stream super chat Q&A with Alex. So think of your questions, make them good. Hold on to them, write them down, and save them for next week, because I've been watching Alex for, as long as everybody else has been, how many years he's been out talking about this for, 30 years now. I mean, I've been watching him that long, but I think we talked about it in his first interview that he started in 1989 or so, coming out and talking about the Andromedans and the relationship with the planet and the governments and what's going on. So should be very interesting, folks. So stay tuned. We're going to have good stuff on the GoldFish Report. It has to mean something, though. We don't talk about anything frivolous on this program, just stuff that makes everybody, well, either gets you mad or you either love it or hate it. I have a feeling it's either one or the other. When it comes to politics or it comes to the other stuff, we do our best. So, okay, weather light bursts. Thanks, Frank. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what. Sadly, I have seen some photos and images of what looks like directed energy weapons in Australia. So I also am getting some intel, let's say through the grapevine, some back channel intel or chatter that there is in fact directed energy weapons involved in this. So look, we're all waking up. I don't know how long they think they're going to keep getting away with this. People in Australia can't let these globalists take over. And if China's involved, in some way, this is not good. What do we have? Nestle. We have the CEO of Nestle saying water is not a human right and we should have to pay. Guys, they're not all human. We can't let these entities destroy humanity. So, but we have to stay together. We have to stick together. We're greater in number than they are, and the dig's up. All right, guys. So everybody have a great night. Have a great Saturday night. Enjoy the full moon energy. Do your manifestations, do your prayers. And we do need prayers. We need a lot of prayers. We need them for Australia. We need them for Audrey. And we need them to make sure we can keep the GoldFish Report going. We need prayers. I need prayers too, actually. I'm so humble, but I should ask for it myself. It would be helpful. I'm in a big hot mess legally with the First Amendment battle that I've been going through for 8 years. But one day this will be over. But everybody's First Amendment battle is everybody's First Amendment battle, So Jim Fetzer is involved in it as well, and so we need to, yeah. Let's not forget light workers and all the people who are working. Definitely all the people who are working to kick him where it hurts. I agree, Slim. I agree, Slim Frank. Like everybody's nicknames. I'm from Jersey. We all have nicknames here. Yeah, Wilhelm Reich. Thank you for putting that in there, because everybody's seen that documentary on him, and then they saw what happened at the end, how they they shut him down. Like Nikola Tesla, I mean, how disappointing. So anyway, but we all know. See, now we know these things, and now it's time for us to stand up. Yes, smart meters, it's all part of it. Yes, it is. Absolutely. J.D. Clark. Yep. Unconditional love, folks, because nobody's perfect here. Unconditional love to each other. So everybody, you have a great weekend. If we have another update with Tim tomorrow, I will be back. I will be live to present that, and we were glad that Steve came by. Steve is in Austria, but he's in Vienna, but he is a native Aussie, and he was just there for 3 weeks. You know, he goes back and forth. He has family there. You know, he's still an Aussie. He has dual citizenship, I believe. So, you know, he's, you know, so I was really glad that Steve stopped by to give us a little bit of what he understood when he was there, what his friends are talking about. And you know, he said he had what he called bush lung. He's a singer, Steve. That's really what he does. And you know, I never talk about it, but I mean, he needs his lungs. And so for him to kind of, you know, have, it was difficult for him to be breathing down there. And he really needs his pipes. His pipes. We all have nicknames. Okay, folks, you have a great night. I'm going to sign off. I want to thank you all so much for joining us tonight, and we will be back with more. God bless you all. And this concludes this edition of the GoldFish Report.